Hey Taurus, welcome to your reading for 2024. My name is Luke Bulgarakis from LV Life. I'm going to be pulling a 12-month spread for you today. So we'll begin with three cards. This is your overview, your transition between 23 to 24. Then we'll look at them each month of the year, so the 12 cards, and then we'll do three extra cards at the end just for the overview of 24. This is for your sun, moon, or rising in Taurus. So let's begin. Excuse me, I'm full of cold, so hopefully I'm not snotting or coughing too much on camera today. Right, what we got. So I'll start here with our three overview cards. Not dissimilar to the Virgo reading I did earlier, actually. Must be an earth sign thing. Now, we begin here with the Four of Wands. So perhaps in 2023, you've been really taking some time to reflect on some of your challenges that you've experienced in life, some of the battles or the harder moments in life. So perhaps you've been looking back at that and almost taking a rest from it. Like there's not necessarily been active battles, but there are battles that have still been, I guess, present in your life because they still run over in your mind, or you're still uncomfortable about them, or there's still some animosity. So this is very much about that resting from those battles, but trying to figure out the why. Like, why did they happen for you? Like, not to you, but for you. What was the reason and the purpose? And building that strength up for when other stuff comes up in life, because of course we're going to battle our whole lives. It's never smooth. We do live on this roller coaster, unfortunately. So this is about kind of learning those lessons from past things and having them in your backpack as or your toolkit, for when you're presented with other things coming forward. So yeah, it's been very much a reflective year, perhaps for you in 23. And then as we move into the middle here, we've got the King of Cups. The King of Cups is around really mastering relationships, and perhaps you've maybe been setting some boundaries, or perhaps based on the reflection of some of those battles, you've been setting a few boundaries. But it's very much about mastering those relationships, understanding where it's important to put your energy and where it's important to not allow that energy to go. So, yeah, I just feel that this is about boundaries and relationships for you. And then as we move on, we've then got the Page of Cups, which is more about a surprise element from a relationship. So I feel like as you've been setting those boundaries, people have surprised you. Like, perhaps I know that I've found this in, times in my life where things have been hard, as an example. Um, People that you thought would be there weren't, and people that you had no idea would be there were. And I feel like it's that energy. Like as you start to set boundaries and reflect on some of the challenges of your life, um, you start to be surprised by people. So perhaps that is this is for me is what's coming up from your transition between 23 to 24. So that's the relevant, of course, lots of other stuff would have happened for you in 23, but I feel that this is the relevant piece of the puzzle. So let's see what comes out for the months. So January, February, March, April, May, June, July, August, September, October, November, December. Oh, nice. Okay. So we'll go through all of those one by one. Here we are. So we start here in January. So we've got the Eight of Wands here. It's reversed. So this is it upright. Upright is kind of things are pointing in the right direction for you. In reverse, it's not that they're not pointing in the right direction. It's just that there's some internal work to do still. And I think that we've kind of just talked a little bit about this in that summary between 23 to 24. Like, you're still not sure of who you are and why yet. And I think that this is the figuring out month. This is January is a time to really be reflecting. Perhaps you've been reflecting previously on the people in the situations and the challenges and the battles and processing that and figuring that out. But then the next level is to then figure out, well, how does that influence who I am and who I want to be? So yeah, this is very much looking into that. It's pointing in the right direction in the sense of you need to do the work, but it's more about that figuring out process in January. And then we move on to February, where we have the Four of Swords. Four? No, six. Six of Swords. In this, we can see some like this, like two people. It looks like a grown up and a child with cloaks over them sailing away, and then someone, literally just rowing that boat, taking them away. But they're carrying all of those battles with them. They're carrying those swords with them. So what this is suggesting is that it's time to turn your back on some situations or circumstances, but carry the swords with you for strength, like carry the lessons of the battles with you for strength. So I think that very much part of this January piece where you're looking at yourself and who you want to be, in February, that's going to create a bit of realization of, actually, if I want to be the person that I want to be, I'm going to need to turn my back on some circumstances or some situations, because what I'm doing right now isn't serving me to be who I want to be. So there is this sailing away element, right? But it's a nurturing element. That's why the child is in the picture. That's why the cloak is in the picture. It's very much, it's an essential nurturing thing to do for your own well-being, for your own safety, for your own good. So yeah, there's a kind of moving on element from February, which leads us to March, where we have the Wheel of Fortune. So in this Wheel of Fortune card, I mean, this is a double-edged sword, the Wheel of Fortune. Like, it can be one, like when you spin the Wheel of Fortune, you can get a prize or you can get nothing. And that's very much this. Like, you're gonna have to take a gamble in March. Like, so if you're turning your back on something, or kind of transitioning from one thing to another in February, you're gonna be presented with a gamble. Like, you're gonna have to take a risk for this, and it's, you've got to do it, is what this is saying. Whether it turns out right or whether it turns out wrong is irrelevant, because it will still be right. It will still lead you to the right thing. It will either it will teach you a lesson or elevate you, or both. So yeah, when we see this Wheel of Fortune, like, there's some lovely, nice golden things sitting in clouds, and then there's like this devil-looking creature and this snake. So it is the gamble, but there's a gamble in March that you need to take, a risk that you need to take, and I can't make decisions for you, but this card is saying to take it. So whether you do what you want with that information. And then in April, we've got this Knight of Cups. A Knight of Cups in reverse. So in reverse, cups are like the emotions. So I feel like perhaps this gamble is an emotional one, or will lead to some emotions, but the Knight is victorious. The Knight in this card is not going into battle, they're coming back from battle. They're holding the cup up high, the visor is open. So this is about emotional victory. Like, perhaps an emotional release is the word that's coming to me intuitively. So I think that this gamble, this kind of turning the back on this situation or circumstance, is going to lead to like a real emotional release and a victory. Perhaps an outpour that you've been needing, that you're long overdue. So there's definitely change happening in the spring, right? But it's all for the right reasons. Then we move down to May. It looks terrifying. It's not. Don't worry about it. The Ten of Swords. So we see someone that's been stabbed in the back 10 times here. So you've got a lot of sword energy actually happening in the first part of this reading. But the 10 is completion. So this is like the end of those challenges and battles, like the end of the nonsense that drags you down. Because when he looks over the horizon here, he can see that the fog is lifting, the sun is coming out, it's a new day. It's in reverse, so I think a lot of this is that internal self-talk, because it's also sitting below that those 8 of wands in reverse as well, when we talked about you starting to figure yourself out a bit. I think that this is, are you your own worst enemy at times? Are you your harshest critic? Are you the person that beats yourself up the most? It's the end of that. I think this emotional release that's coming in April is going to clear the way for you to really kind of shut down all that negative self-talk. It's going to really help release that. So it's very much about the end of that, which is wonderful. And then we come into June, and we've got the Hanged Man also in reverse. So let me show you the Hanged Man. The Hanged Man is not being hung. The Hanged Man has hung himself, but by the ankle, not around the neck. And you can see that there's this light beaming behind his head. This is a change of perspective. And in reverse, this proper internal shift in perspective. I feel like it's this kind of light bulb moment or aha moment where you recognize that your mind doesn't have to be the scary place that you're used to it being, that you can think differently, you can feel differently, and the world can look different. So I think it's very much this shift in perspective. There's a lot of internal growth here for you. And then we move into July with the King of Pentacles. Now, the King of Pentacles, this is in reverse again. Massive self-worth piece. Like really learning to master the art of self-worth. But there's a little warning with this. So the king, you can see, is all this stuff growing up around him. It's almost overtaking him. So don't get too focused on the need to do everything, the need to do it all. Like, oh, I've learned this amazing thing, so I need to learn every other amazing thing that ever exists. And I need to know everything about it and unturn every stone and be an absolute master of it. You do not. Don't let it overwhelm you. You've already found mastery. You don't need all the bells and whistles, right? We don't need, like, I'm a real believer in this, we don't need certificates for shit. Like, we don't need to be rewarded or praised or have a piece of paper or a qualification to be valid. And I think that this is very much about this, that you're going to really get to a place of good self-worth, good internal self-talk, good belief in yourself. That doesn't mean you need to be an expert at that, and you don't need to go preaching it to other people. You know, this is a gift for you and for you only. So yeah, really focus on it from that perspective. Don't let it overwhelm you like you've got some big duty. You don't. Only to yourself. And then we move on in August to the Page of Swords, and again in reverse. So this is I want you to think about the page as like an intern. So we've got the royals, we've got the page, the queen, the page, the knight, the queen, and the king. So the page is like the intern, the knight's like the one that got the job after the internship, and then the queen starts to really take ownership of that throne, and the king lands the throne, right? So they all have different roles, different stages. So the page is like the intern, and I feel like you are kind of tentatively but optimistically going into this new mindset, this new world, this new you. But it's like beginning as an intern again. Like, you're not brand new to this world, but you're starting a newness for yourself. You're starting something that is new to you. So yeah, it's quite exciting. I think there's a lot of, it seems to me like there's personal growth followed by the need to do something with it. But the term in my head, just the kind of phrase that just popped into my head was "fools rush in." So it's again going in, thinking, not thinking I am the master, but thinking I'm the intern. I've still got so much to learn. I don't need to learn it all at once. And then when we move to September, we have these new opportunities. So we've got the Three of Wands, and if you can see, there's like this blank terrain in the background. There's a person stood here with his wands, ready to manifest and create. But into what? Into the blankness, into the blank canvas, like the opportunity to literally do whatever, but in reverse. So this is the blank canvas of your soul. This is like reimagining and remastering who you want to be now. Like you've got to this place of awesome self-worth and you want to do something with it. And now it's like the blank canvas to start flinging the paint on and seeing what emerges, right? So go and explore. Go and explore in September. And then in October comes next. October. We have the Devil card. So the Devil is about temptation. So I feel like as you start exploring these new ways, these new mindsets, these new things that are going to help increase and build your self-worth, that you might hit a few moments where you think, oh no, it's all just nonsense, it's all rubbish, I'm kidding myself, it's not real, it's all too woo-woo. And that is just the devil on your shoulder tempting you back to the old. So don't be tempted back, right? Don't go back to what wasn't working for you. Stay focused on what you want to create and what will work for you going forward, what's in your most alignment. And we all have that as we start to explore things and start to explore ourselves more. Sometimes we get a bit freaked out and we go, oh, no, I'll just go back to what I know because it's safe. But is it safe? Because it hasn't worked. So, yeah, keep that focus on the newness, keep that focus on what it is that you're trying to do and be. And then we come into the Page of Pentacles in November, another page, but this time it's the more physical aspect. It's upright, and Pentacles are really about the physicalities of the world. So when you think about the Page of Pentacles, it's like, again, this optimistic kind of tentative nature of being the intern, but now you're physically doing something with it. Whereas previously you were really working on the internal growth, now it's time to take it out into the world. Maybe you start telling people about your woo-woo-ness or your things that you've discovered, the things that are working for you. Like maybe this is the time not to have responsibility for other people, but to be proud of the things that you've learned and grown and perhaps inspire other people just organically through doing what you do and being who you are, not by being pushy. So yeah, it's quite interesting. And then we get the Tower card for December, but in reverse. So the Tower card upright, we know everything comes crashing down, but it clears the way for something new. It's one of the most amazing transformative cards. It's in reverse. It's this amazing transformative moment of you. I think once you start doing this Page of Pentacles work in November, letting people in a little bit and being like, oh, wow, I do this now, and this is how I think now, and I've changed my world, and I've changed my life, and like in small ways, introducing people, I think your whole world's going to change. Like, I think your physical world will change, but also internally, your confidence is going to build and grow. So your previous tower of confidence that you'd built possibly was more egotistical, whereas this tower is much more authentic. And so I really think that this new tower that's being built is this authentic you. So yeah, lots of growth, lots and lots of growth. So let me move those up a bit and get your final three cards for the reading, just to summarize. Oh, decisions to be made. 2, 2, and the Fool. Wowzers. Right. Okay. 2 of Swords, you've got a decision to make. There's like a head and heart decision coming, but you just got to make it. Doesn't matter which way you choose, the right way will be what you pick. So don't overthink a decision. This blindfold is representing you overthinking, making and trying to make this decision internally. Don't. Whatever decision that you have to come across, you just need to make. And I think we've talked about this because you're going through this transformative stage in 2024. So you're going to have to be making decisions. I think this is the turning back thing in February, because also this is February is the second month. Yeah, this is this turning your back thing. You're going to have to make a decision to cut and run from something. You've just got to make the decision. And then we've got the two, again, of cups, emotions or relationships. Really, really relationships here. This shows someone reaching forward to the other. Given that you've got so many pages in your reading, you've got the Page of Cups, the Page of Swords, the Page of Pentacles, and they're all wearing these mini skirts. I think this is you. You're extending an olive branch to someone. I think there's someone from amongst this growth in addressing, you're going to have to address the past. And I think that's going to involve you extending an olive branch to someone about something, or addressing an issue that's been a past issue and making peace with it. I think that's part of this transformation process. Doesn't mean they have to stay in your life, they might, but this is more about a healing process for you. And then we've got the Fool. So the Fool is no fault, another mini dress. Gosh, you're going to look great in mini dresses this year. That the Fool is no fool. The Fool is marching towards the edge of that cliff. He's not got a care in the world about walking off of it. Not even jumping. He's just marching straight off because he knows what he's doing. The Fool has this unwavering belief, and the dog believes him. The dog's following him, and it's in this reverse position, right? So I think that this is saying, and then particularly when we talked about this Devil card and starting to think, oh, it's too much, it's too woo-woo, I'm just being silly, I'm kidding myself. That's this energy, that's that internal Fool that's you're looking at yourself thinking, what am I doing? So it's having that inner strength and saying, no, I'm going to march off this cliff and all is going to be fine. I've got this, I'm on the right track, I'm doing it. So yeah, really interesting stuff for you. So I super look forward to hearing all about that. Please do give me comments even throughout the year or a message, because I love to know what's happening and you know how this stuff is unfolding. So I'd love to hear about that. I'm going to leave my details in the comments and the description, so you can contact me. For 2024, I'm doing a £24 reading, this reading, but personally for you. So this is for your sun, moon, or rising sign, but rather than generically being for that, I'll do a personal reading for you like this. And we can do that online, or we can do that in person at my Wellbeing Centre in Fareham. And I'm also on the 4th of February hosting an in-person Learn Tarot course with me to teach you how I do intuitive tarot rather than textbook tarot. So if you'd like to join that, again, the information will be in the links. Thank you so much. Have a wonderful 2024. I look forward to hearing from you. Bye.